Imagine paying thousands of dollars for a dream vacation in Jamaica, only for a hurricane to hit, the resort runs out of food, and then suddenly the entire internet starts blaming Black Americans, only to find out later, it wasn't even them. This story gets real messy, real fast. In late October of 2025, Jamaica found itself bracing for the full force of Hurricane Melissa, a storm that started as a distant weather advisory and quickly swelled into a menacing and unpredictable threat. The island, usually celebrated in glossy travel magazines and social media travel vlogs as one of the most iconic vacation destinations in the world, was thrust into survival mode. Jamaica is not merely a place people visit. For millions across the world, it represents relaxation, culture, sunshine, music, and peace. Travelers imagine sipping coconut water by the beach, walking along the white sands of Montego Bay, or exploring the vibrant markets of Kingston. But when Hurricane Melissa approached, those dreams and postcards instantly collided with the harsh reality of nature's power. Tourists who had poured substantial amounts of money into their vacations suddenly faced a situation they never expected. Many had paid premium prices, booking expensive flights, reserving beachfront suites, and indulging in luxury all-inclusive packages, believing they were investing in a perfect Caribbean escape. These weren't budget travelers or weekend getaway tourists. These were individuals and families who saved, planned, and anticipated a memorable tropical experience. Yet in a matter of hours, the idyllic imagery they envisioned transformed into emergency briefings, shuttered windows, storm sirens, and safety instructions. Lounge chairs and beach towels were replaced by flashlights, closed curtains, and the eerie silence that often precedes violent storms. As the hurricane's heavy winds and torrential rain battered the island, both locals and visitors found themselves united in uncertainty. Travelers accustomed to ease and convenience suddenly had to confront limitations. Their carefully curated itineraries dissolved. Beaches closed, pools emptied, entertainment stopped, flights were canceled, and the normal comforts that define vacation life evaporated. Many guests accepted the situation with patience, acknowledging the reality that nature is unpredictable and uncontrollable. They understood, even if disappointed, that hurricanes do not negotiate with travel plans. However, amid the collective stress and fear, one tourist unexpectedly became the center of online controversy. She recorded herself expressing frustration, not primarily about the weather, the safety concerns, or the frightening conditions, but about the resort's food offerings during the storm. Her comments suggested that the quality of meals being served did not meet her expectations, and she appeared more irritated by the inconvenience to her dining experience than by the unfolding natural disaster around her. In isolation, her statement might have been dismissed as a personal gripe, but timing matters. Posting such complaints during a life-threatening situation created a spark that quickly ignited into a much larger digital wildfire. Her remarks immediately drew mixed reactions across social media platforms. Many viewers felt her frustration was misplaced and insensitive. Jamaicans online, along with other Caribbean citizens, reacted sharply, pointing out that at a time when locals were worrying about their homes flooding, losing electricity, and potentially facing long-term economic hardship, complaining about buffet options seemed painfully out of touch. People questioned how someone could be so focused on vacation standards while the country around them was experiencing genuine danger. To them, her video symbolized a broader attitude sometimes seen among travelers, treating destinations as playgrounds rather than communities that exist beyond tourism. Yet others argued that fear manifests differently in every human being. Some suggested that the woman might have been overwhelmed or anxious and latched onto something familiar, in this case dining, as a way to cope. They pointed out that storms create panic, and not everyone responds gracefully under pressure. A few even defended her right to express dissatisfaction, saying that when people spend significant money on a trip, disappointment, no matter the circumstance, is an emotional reaction, not necessarily malice. Still, the vast majority of responses leaned toward criticism, believing that empathy should outweigh inconvenience in the face of disaster. This incident sparked broader conversations about travel ethics, privilege, and cultural perspective. Many people began reflecting on the complexities of vacationing in regions where natural disasters are seasonal realities. Should travelers be more mindful when booking trips during hurricane season? Should resorts be more transparent about risks? To what extent should visitors adapt to the environment they're entering? And what responsibilities do they have when crises strike? These questions echoed far beyond Jamaica's shoreline, highlighting a deeper ongoing global conversation about how tourists relate to the places they visit, especially when paradise becomes peril. For Jamaicans, hurricanes are not exotic news stories or temporary inconveniences. They are lived experience. They remember previous storms, destroyed roofs, damaged farmlands, power outages that lasted weeks, and emergency shelters filled with families seeking refuge. They understand the fragility of island life during extreme weather. And while tourists will eventually board planes and return to their home countries, local residents stay behind to rebuild, repair, and recover. This difference in lived stake, temporary discomfort versus long-term consequence, framed much of the online dialogue. Hurricanes expose a truth often overlooked in travel culture. Paradise is not a product. It is a place. Behind the beauty and hospitality are real people whose lives don't pause when visitors arrive. And when disaster hits, those people are the ones who carry the burden long after the tourists leave. Hurricane Melissa, then, was more than a storm. It became a lens. A lens through which privilege, expectation, cultural misunderstanding, and the sometimes fragile relationship between tourists and local communities were examined. The viral complaint about food quality was not just about food. It symbolized a disconnect between leisure and reality, between desire and circumstance, between expectation and empathy. In the end, as the winds calmed and the rains receded, a reminder lingered. Travel is not solely about enjoyment. It is also about awareness. Respect for the land, respect for the people, and respect for the circumstances, even those beyond anyone's control, are essential components of responsible global citizenship. Jamaica will always remain a paradise for countless visitors, but it is also a homeland, resilient, proud, vulnerable, and strong. And during Hurricane Melissa, those truths stood side by side, as both islanders and guests weathered the storm in very different, yet undeniably connected, ways.
Them yard, because frankly I'm tired of them. And you know the funny thing is, it's not the people that are complaining now, it's the ones that look like us that are complaining, and I do the most. So guess what, when I fix the airports and I go on a yard, and as for ungrateful people, don't come.
The woman who sparked all the conversation online goes by Ebony Takes One on TikTok. In her video, she dramatically stated, "I'm ready to go home. Surviving Hurricane Melissa was not part of my vacation plans. Please keep us in your prayers." Her reaction immediately struck a nerve. Many Jamaicans began voicing frustration toward Black American tourists, saying they're exhausted by what they see as entitlement and constant complaints, especially coming from people who look like them. Some locals even snapped back, essentially saying, "Fix the airport if you want to leave, and if you don't appreciate Jamaica, don't bother coming back." From the Jamaican perspective, their frustration wasn't without reason. The hurricane devastated the island, a force of nature no one could control or prevent. And honestly, I get it. If I were traveling and a hurricane hit, I'd be grateful just to be alive and able to return home eventually. Yes, losing money would sting, but traveling during hurricane season has risks. And that's part of the responsibility you take on when booking a tropical vacation in that time frame. Still, there's another side. If resorts knowingly sell high-priced vacation packages during peak storm season, then guests are naturally going to expect a certain level of preparedness and support, no matter the situation. When people feel they've paid premium prices and end up stranded during a natural disaster, sympathy becomes a scarce resource. The discussion grew so heated online that eventually even Amanda Seales weighed in, further fueling the conversation.
I didn't just see videos of folks in Jamaica, Americans, Black Americans in Jamaica, post-Hurricane Melissa, complaining about the food they were provided by the hotel post-Hurricane Melissa, one of the most severe hurricanes to hit the region ever. No, you know what? I couldn't have seen that, cause that would be utterly insane, disgraceful, and ungrateful. As somebody who has actually been in the Caribbean at a hotel during a hurricane. I was in Hurricane Beryl while at Mount Cinnamon Hotel in Grenada last year. I need to remind some of you that these people are literally with yokes instead of with their families during severe weather event that could affect and impact their lives and their livelihood. And you're talking about what? They're literally there putting together meals with whatever they have to get to you. I remember that folks at Mount Cinnamon was coming through while the wind was moving and crazy and everything, making sure that we had something to eat. Oh, you're damn rude. I had heard that this was happening and I just assumed it was white folks. I just was like, yeah, that tracks. And this is why we continue to have dissension amongst the diaspora. Because so often folks go other places and act a mess. And there's a version of this that is done by African folks. There's a version of this that is done by Caribbean folks. And there's a version of this that is done by American folks. And everybody needs to stop showing up in other...
Amanda Seals eventually jumped into the conversation as well. She has Caribbean roots, part Black American, part Caribbean, and she tried to approach the situation with a balanced tone. But honestly, her commentary often leans critical of Black Americans, and this time felt no different. Yes, our community makes mistakes, and I've critiqued us plenty myself, especially on my main platform. Still, it was noticeable that she seemed more eager to point fingers at Black Americans than acknowledge anything else happening. But here's where things get interesting. Some people from Jamaica saw a few guests at the resort complaining and immediately used that moment to attack foundational Black Americans, throwing insults and painting the whole group as entitled. Then the truth surfaced. The women complaining weren't even Black American. They sounded like us, sure, but they were actually from Bermuda. Fellow Caribbeans just using our slang and dialect. Despite that fact, folks online still use the situation as fuel to bash foundational Black Americans, calling us spoiled and out of touch. There were videos being made on the island and even content from abroad saying, "If you don't like it, leave, go home." Tariq Nasheed eventually responded, clarifying that the woman causing all the noise wasn't from the Black American community at all. She was Bermudian. And that distinction matters. As someone deeply tied to Pan-African circles and currently living in Africa, I believe in unity and community across the diaspora. I love Africans. I love Caribbean people. If you're good-hearted, I'll stand with you every time. I don't usually participate in tribalism. It doesn't help any of us, but here's the line. Don't blame Black Americans for something we didn't do. If we're wrong, call it out, no excuses. But it's not fair when someone grows up around Black American culture, sounds like us, acts like us, and then misbehaves somewhere else, and suddenly the entire Black American community gets blamed. And sure, I won't pretend someone from our community couldn't behave that way. We have our share of people who would. But many wouldn't. And in this case, the outrage wasn't even aimed at the right people. To make matters worse, there are also clips floating around of folks from the UK complaining too, proving the behavior wasn't exclusive to any one group. In my first video, I didn't explain this well, so let me set the record straight now. The woman who sparked all the backlash reportedly has a British-sounding accent, maybe Scottish or something in that range. And here's why that matters. Black Americans are being blamed for behavior that doesn't even appear to come from our community, if these details are accurate. This is exactly how misunderstandings spread. Someone from Bermuda, who grew up around Black American culture or lived near us, can easily adopt our slang, our mannerisms, even our cadence. And suddenly, they get mistaken for us. Meanwhile, I'm here in Uganda, and there is no way I can pull off a Ugandan accent. If I do something wrong, it's obvious I'm the American guy with the West Coast voice. But reverse it? A Ugandan, or someone from the Caribbean, can live in the US for years, then go elsewhere acting up. And people might automatically assume they're American. So Jamaicans, especially those who've never traveled, hear an accent, assume American, and start pointing fingers. And instead of calling out the actual source, they blame foundational Black Americans, even though these women were Bermudian. And this is where delineation becomes important. Caribbean communities are very intentional about protecting their wins. When one of them succeeds, that success stays in the Caribbean circle. Nobody else gets to claim it. They defend that identity fiercely. But when someone from their group slips up, suddenly it's convenient to throw the blame toward Black Americans. That's the issue. If a Caribbean person is winning, it's Trini pride. A Jamaican excellence. A Bajan success. But the moment there's a misstep, must be those entitled Black Americans. No, take the wins and take the losses too. Because what ends up happening is we're carrying our own burdens and absorbing blame from others who blend in culturally and speak like us. Meanwhile, our successes get borrowed from our culture, our influence, our platforms, without that accountability flowing both directions. I don't usually lean into tribalism. I've lived across the diaspora and love Africans and Caribbeans alike. I'll always support good people regardless of origin. But fairness is fairness. You don't get to benefit from the cultural capital of Black America while dropping your mistakes at our doorstep. In Africa, this doesn't fly. A Ugandan can't go to Nigeria and cause chaos without owning that identity. There's no confusion. Same with Kenya. If you mess up somewhere else, your homeland claims that L. That's how it should be everywhere. So yes, delineation matters, not for division, but for accountability. You can celebrate your triumphs, but you also need to own your missteps. And if this woman was from Bermuda, then Bermuda needs to hold that L. Don't drag foundational Black Americans into it, because right now, people benefit from the Black American identity when it's convenient, but hand us the consequences when it's not. At the end of the day, the truth is simple. We could all win together if we genuinely wanted to. There is more than enough space for collective progress, for shared success stories, and for mutual elevation across the global Black community. We could build stronger connections, support one another's industries, uplift our cultural legacies, and defend each other when adversity hits. We could even lose together, take the hits collectively, learn from the challenges, dust ourselves off, and come back stronger. Losses don't have to divide us. They could be lessons that bind us, but that vision only works when everyone embraces transparency and accountability. If unity is real, then both the victories and the failures have to be shared. You can't claim the glory collectively and then outsource the blame individually. You can't enjoy the perks and access that come from identifying with Black American culture, the music, the visibility, the activism, the global influence, and then, in moments of embarrassment or scandal, distance yourself and toss the responsibility onto another group. That's not unity, that's opportunism. And when that happens repeatedly, frustration naturally builds. People start asking, is this solidarity or is this selective partnership? Pan-African unity sounds powerful, and it can be powerful, but true unity requires honesty, fairness, and reciprocity. It requires everyone to stand tall when things go right and stand firm when things go wrong. It means acknowledging each other's contributions and respecting each other's identities without shifting blame or cherry-picking allegiance based on convenience. Until we practice that level of fairness, until community means both celebration and accountability, people are going to continue to feel slighted and disrespected, and these tensions will keep resurfacing. Anyway, that's the message. It's your boy signing off. I appreciate you for rocking with me, supporting the movement, and taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed this conversation, if it made you think, or if it sparked any kind of dialogue, make sure you tap that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another drop. We've got more conversations, more insight, more perspective coming your way. Until next time, be safe, stay focused, stay informed, and as always, peace.